you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets.
I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make I no buy am. Make I show you something. What? What in be this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make I ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't can say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. After it don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, you drink am now. At the sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back, ST Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me to take a look at the latest revolving around the world of sports today is Emmanuel Michael. Michael, good evening to you and welcome to the show.
Good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers out there. I'm not a happy man because a lot of things going wrong, and for Team Nigeria, it's been an abysmal outing.
Abysmal one, of course, you would say, because the Super Falcons of Nigeria, they've been shown the exit door in the Paris 2024 Olympic game because they've lost all 3 games, you know, at the football events down there, and really been an abysmal one, just like we heard from Mike. At first, they lost against Brazil, and the second game was against the Spanish football team, women football team, and they lost as well. And today, they lost as well against Japan. It ended 3-1 in that particular encounter. So, Michael, out of the 3 games, we were only able to score just 1 goal in this particular Paris Olympic game. What do you make of the performance of the Super Falcons of Nigeria in these Olympic Games?
It's a big shame, a national ignominy for me, because 24 years is not 24 days, neither is it 24 weeks. I mean, this is a country that have participated 24 good times at the Olympic Games. I think the highest that we've gotten close is the quarterfinal in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. Since then, 24 years down the line, we can't even, you know, make a semi-final outing. I think for me, it's a disappointing outing for the Super Falcons, especially coming at the back heels of their impressive performance at the last Women's World Cup. We thought maybe they were going to, you know, continue such impressive display at this year's Paris Olympic game. After they had a proper, you know, preparation and planning, we thought maybe this time around, you know, we are going to at least exceed our previous outing, but it wasn't to be. As it looked as though Randy Waldrum, he just, for me, an average coach, because when it matters most, he doesn't deliver. Of course, average coach, you want to know, what has he won in any of the clubs that he has coached over the years? So it's an average coach. You know, playing 3 games, conceding 5 goals, scoring just a goal. How do you rate such a team? Very woeful performance. But when it comes to Africa, we are forced to be reckoned with, 11 times champions. We dominate the continent of Africa, but when it matters most, we just couldn't find our footing. And it's a big worry, a big challenge for me. And we must, as a matter of must, begin to think on the way forward. Because if you are having a country like Morocco, in the last Women's World Cup, Morocco, that was their first outing in the Women's World Cup. But they exited the stage as a round of 16. They even felt better than the Super Falcons that have been ever present in the World Cup. So it clearly tells you that the level of women development and improvement here in the country is taking a back foot instead of front foot. So it's a big worry. It's a big worry. I'm not a totally happy man. Then again, take a look at the total performance of Team Nigeria especially. Started with the tennis where Haruna Quadri was knocked out even before you could say Jack. It's almost back home. take a look at the boxing team. They lost out before you could say Jack. We are back home. The Super Falcons, their first game, second game, nothing to write home about. It's just the Tigers that gave us something to cheer home about when they actually had that impressive display against the Australian women basketball team. Exception of that, it has been gloom and doom for Team Nigeria.
You know, still talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, just like you actually mentioned, the abysmal outing for them. But let's take a look at, you know, who should take the blame, you know, at this point in time. I know everybody wants...
You should take the blame. If you are looking for who to take the blame, I think you should take the blame.
Everybody wants to tilt towards the direction of Coach Randy Wardrum because he's the coach of the side. His tactics wasn't not good enough, and the girls as well, you think they didn't also take their chances, you know, when it matters most as well. You know, take a look at it. Who should we point our fingers to?
I think it's very simple. I don't always want to toe the line of blame games or pointing, accusing finger, but when it becomes obvious, we just have to state the reality here. The reality remains that when a team does well, the coach gets the credit, isn't it?
Those the players as well, don't they get the credit as well?
But it's the coach that takes the bulk of the credit. It's just likened to Pep Guardiola making the EPL a Farmers League right now. Nobody remembers some of the players that were still at Manchester City when he won their first EPL for them. But then you still hear the name Pep Guardiola. It rings bell in your ear. Why? Because of his achievement. Probably as you are sitting, you might not even be able to count the first 5 set of players that won the English Premier League under Pep Guardiola. But then, the indelible achievement of Pep Guardiola still sticks in your mind. What comes to your mind first when you hear Manchester City is Pep Guardiola, that he has won 4 straight EPL. What will come to your mind is not about which player was part and parcel of the squad that helped him to win all of this, isn't it? So, when team does well, the coach takes the credit, and if they does well as well, the coach also takes the blame. So for me, I think Randy Wardrum is he should take the blame out here. And tactically speaking, if you actually watch the 3 games as we've played, it's more of maybe more defensive frame or set-off kind of play, which for me I do not, and I will never for any day advocate for such negative antics of playing football. Football has evolved. We saw people trying to change the game. Usually it was 4-4-2 formation, classic formation of the. But over the years, we've seen football tactics, pattern of play being changed from diamond formation to classic 4-4-2 formation. We saw the genge pressing, the metal heavy kind of football play. We saw the tiki-taka. We saw the counter-attacking. You know, the game is evolving. And I expect Randy Wardrum to also follow the trend. You can't continue to play the same old pattern, getting negative results, and you want to stick with it. You know, so I expected us to go for more of the heavy metal kind of play, football where we say gang pressing. You know, go out for all attack, all defense. That is the way, because it is not just the best form of football, but because it also helps you to make your opponent afraid of you. Because if you are sitting deep to absorb the pressure, that will also give your opponent an advantage. Because most of the time, you discover that the ball is around your 18-yard, angle, and it is a pressure. The best form of defense for me, I believe, is to attack. But then we keep defending in your first game, defending in your second game. In last game, you don't have anything to lose. why not go all out? Deploy a 4-4-2 formation. Go for 2-man strike option. You know, but you still stick with 4-2-3-1 formation. Still maintaining that mindset of defense minded. I think for me it doesn't work. So Randy Wardrum needed to take the blame because he failed to evolve. He failed to read our opponent game. You take a look at the Japanese. They are very pacey. They are very tricky. They are very sneak and very smart on the ball. You know, you can't be playing defensive form of football with a team that has pure intelligence on the ball. I mean, take a look at their players. Most of their players, their intelligence quotient on the ball and off the ball is about 8 to 9% accuracy. Why? Because before the ball gets to their feet, they have already thought what they are going to do with that ball. And that is how you outsmart your opponent. But when you wait and allow your opponent to do everything, you just wait to when the pressure comes, you sit back and absorb. How long will you continue to defend? So it's a big problem. I think that Randy Wardrum have failed us this time around. You know, and it's a big issue that we continue to tackle. I believe for me, the drawing table is already filled. The drawing board is already filled. We should not go to any drawing board because there's nowhere to write again.
Let's see if we can clean everything and start writing again.
Maybe it's more like buying a new phone and you want to do a format to do resetting. And that means that all the players should be wiped out and coaches should be wiped out and new players need to come in. But it doesn't work out that way.
Of course, it doesn't really work out that way. Talking about the failure of Coach Randy Wardrum, will you also attribute it to the group we found ourselves? We played against Brazil, we played against the world champion Spain and Japan.
I do not think it goes that way. I mean, football, there's no one pattern of play or team that you can say, yes, they have equal strength against each other. We played against Brazil. Brazil, they are very good. They defeated us. That same Brazil that people look up to as one of the deadliest team in the world, that same Brazil was also humbled by Japan. If you take a look at the success of Brazil in terms of world football compared to Japan, I mean, it's like trekking from here, you trekking from here with your foot down to China. That is the disparity between the level of football improvement and development for Brazil and, Japan. But yet, Japan was able to humble Brazil, world power. You know, Spain that we are talking about as well. Spain was not this good 10 years down ago, 8 years ago. They weren't this good, but because they had to take a deliberate plan and action towards developing women's football via the funds that FIFA distribute to each member nation for especially and specifically for female football development. But you begin to ask yourself, what are we doing in this part of the climb, especially Africa, this heavy amount of money that comes through FIFA grants and the rest of the money? How do we spend it? But when you hear that FIFA is coming for any coaching issue, you see our administrators rallying around some market women to take them there that they are coach. They want to go and gain exposure. So for me, it's a big problem and we need to work on it. If not, we'll continue to remain where we are. And other smaller nations that is not even better off than us in the world of football will come and overtake us. Well, I've seen that happening. I mentioned Morocco earlier. Morocco is faring better in terms of women's football than the Super Falcons right now. South Africa, they were nowhere near us before. 7 years, 5 years, 10 years, South Africa was nowhere near the Super Falcons. But these days, South Africa can hold us to ransom. So it tells you about the level of improvement for some of these countries. But here, I mean, people are just interested in developing their pockets and not developing their sports. And that is a problem.
So what's the way forward for the Super Falcons?
I think the way forward is a big question. If we profile solution for a way forward, we don't even listen the authority, we don't even listen. We keep advising from year to year, month to month. Nothing comes out of it. You know, so for me, they should just do their thing, you know.
All right, that's the situation of things for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They lost their encounter today against Japan, ended 3-1 And for really, of course, a really disappointing outing for the Super Falcons. Couldn't win any game in their group. Yes, they played against Brazil, they played against Spain and Japan, and they lost all 3 games. Not a very good one for, you know, the African giants, you would say. But that's what it is. And of course, I wish them well as they pack their bags to come back down here to Nigeria. But still talking about the Olympic Games, the Athletic Federation of Nigeria has said that the body can't explain how the name of the women's 100 meters national champion, Favour Ofili, got missing in the women's 100 meters event at the Paris Olympic Game. Michael, Favour Ofili actually came out yesterday on a social media handle to accuse the Athletic Federation of Nigeria and as well as the Nigerian Olympic Committee of, you know, omitting her name in the 100 meters event at the Paris Olympic Game. Now they've come out to say that they don't know how the name got omitted in the list.
Okay, maybe they don't know, but we must find out how the name got omitted, because this is a serious issue we are talking about here. You know, that someone has been preparing for the last 4 good years for this big moment to take part in an Olympic year and in an Olympic competition. After 4 years of preparation, you just discovered that the authority that were supposed to, you know, enroll your name to the IOC failed to do their bidding, failed to do their job, and cost you of some person's irresponsibility. Now, she stands a chance of not competing at the 100-meter relay, which for me I think is quite disappointing, because I'm thinking that the NOC is to be held responsible for this very one, the Nigerian Olympic Committee. We have 2 bodies that sees into the affairs of athletics. We have the AFN talking about the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, and the NOC, the Nigerian Olympic Committee. Now, their jobs description is quite clear. The Nigerian Athletic Federation sees about the affairs of our athletes in competing, in taking part in every championship, but the National Olympic Committee is responsible of jotting down the names of those that have passed through the test, that have qualified, that have met with the requirement, the standard of qualifying for the Olympic game. It is behoves on them a responsibility to also roll out the names of the persons that have qualified and send it direct to the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee. But then they failed, and that is why the name of Favour Ofili was omitted. Because if they actually did that, there was no way you tell me. But then you saw the sport minister a few hours ago he came out with a very strong statement. I think he's very furious, and he should be very furious. He vented his anger about the irresponsibility of those who were supposed to do their work with due diligence. They failed to do the needful, and he has threatened that this one will not go down, you know, like the ways of others. It's not going to let it slide. You know, they are going to make every necessary investigation to see who is culpable for this. And I think for me, if found, those persons should go for it. Don't forget, this same Favour Ofili missed out in the last Olympic game because of the irresponsibility of the said people in charge as well, because they could not provide funds to allow our athletes that have qualified for the last Olympic to go through the doping test, and that is how they were disqualified. Now, this is another you know, second misfortune she's going to face after preparing for 4 good years. If you were to be in her shoe, when next you are called to come and represent the country, will you be happy? Will you come out and give? Courtesy of this alone, she is mentally destabilized, because I think she can no longer focus very well again, because maybe her aim was to take part first in the 100 meter and do very well, maybe win a gold medal or silver. Then she build up her confidence down to the 200 meter before you talk about the 4x100 meter relay race. But then she has been pulled out of this very one because of the mistakes of some persons. So for me, I think it's a big worry. We keep having this issue, not first time, this is not the second time. We also hear the kitting issue that AFN, Sport Ministry, they are fighting on who own kits and who should. I mean, is this what we should be talking about?
All right, that's a situation of things. It looks a little bit funny, but not funny at all, because this is not where Nigeria, of course, is supposed to find herself, but it is what it is at the moment. See, talking about football results, coming from the Paris Olympic game, Spain beats Brazil as well today by 2-0. The Spanish, of course, team really pushing forward down there. But talking about Ophelia, she said, according to her, the Athletic Federation of Nigeria said that they registered Ophelia for the 100 meters and 200 meters and the 4x100 meters relay. They said, and I quote, "We don't know how her name got missing in the 100 meters. This is our stand as a federation." And Nkoku said via Athletic Federation of Nigeria social media down there. So really a disappointing performance, and we hope that Ophelia, of course, will be able to get herself intact at the 200 meters event as well as the women's 4x100 meters event as well. Let's quickly move on as we take a look at other matters revolving around the beautiful water sport. Michael, was a disappointing announcement to say for team Nigerian captain Onooluwapo Okpere. He suffered a disappointing start to his Paris 2024 Olympic game, losing a straight set to Switzerland Tobias Kunze in their group. And Maze, who had previously lost to China's Li Sheveng in straight sets, delivered a strong performance against the higher-ranked Nigerian, despite a closely fought first set that Kunze won 22-20. He ultimately secured a comfortable 21-14 victory in the second set, claiming the match 2-0. Michael, our captain, lost yesterday in the badminton event.
And the bad news continues, especially when he actually drew inspiration and confidence from the magical feats of the D-Tigress a few hours ago before his game yesterday. I thought he was going to bank on the, hope or the positive result of the D-Tigress coming into that yesterday's game. And especially where, taking a look at the ranking, I think he's above the opponent talking about Kunze, because Kunze is seated or ranked 181st in the world ranking, whereas he is ranked number 10 in the world. So you expected him to at least get the job done and dusted, but it wasn't to be, as if it matters most. I think for me, the disappointment continues after seeing our table tennis contingent also hosted out. In boxing we are also out, football we are out. Not a good one at all. We are seated 0 in the medals log. In fact, if you take a look at medals log, try to find Nigeria, I don't know if you can even see where we are seated. So it's been a generally disappointing outing for Team Nigeria. But then there's still hope, there's still light at the end of the tunnel, because most of the athletic events, track and field event rather, have not commenced, because that is the only strength, that is the only area we can be able to pull in some strings of positive result. And we talk about wrestling as well and shot put. Maybe, just maybe, keeping our fingers crossed, hoping that at least we'll get to that point where we'll begin to rack up medals so that we can actually fulfill our dream, the long dream of having 12 medals, as projected by, our administrators.
Michael, one will ask, why are we always struggling? Why the poor performance for over time now will continue to struggle? The last Olympic was in Tokyo, and that was in 2021 because of the COVID-19 in 20. And now it is, I think, 4 to 3 years now preparing for this one. And then we can still be, we're able at least to win a medal in the first 3 to 4 days of the Olympic Games.
I think for me it's very simple. When you take a look at some of these countries that is also winning enough medals for themselves, you take a look at the areas of the sport that they are pulling some of these medals, you discover that it is relatively unknown sports. Talk about curling, talk about darts, talk about diving, talk about swimming. These are areas. Even Ludo, the Ludo you and I play for fun, it's also part of the Olympic Games. So yes, countries rack up medals from that angle.
Can you imagine?
Yes, but how have we been able to fare in that area? So we do not take a deliberate plan towards investing heavily on some of these relatively unknown sports, because this country you see making wave, the likes of Canada, United States of America, China, go through the lines and check where they amass most of their medals. It is relatively unknown sports. Do we have cycling event? Do we have any cycling contingent?
There's cycling event for Team Nigeria.
Okay, but there are some persons that take cycling as their own key area of strength. There are some countries that take tennis as their key areas of strength. There are some countries that take long distance races as their key areas of strength. And so, but we talk about the country Nigeria, we focus our eggs on maybe basketball, football, and boxing. The boxing itself is gradually dying down. So when you talk about that, ludoing, coiling, you know, these are games, diving, these are games that we are
fencing
not...
as well.
Fencing as well. So, you know, it's a big issue. We need to totally overhaul the system, the sports system, and begin from a start, so that at least let's make a change, because it looks as though most times some of our administrators, they don't even care about developing some of this sport. They just come to make some big statement in the media out there just because you've been appointed. You want people to identify with you. You want them to feel that you are doing everything possible. Sometimes you play the ostrich game. When you see your boss, you behave as if you're a good man. You come to the media, publish one or two things, and there it goes. We just let it die there. So even in the all-African games, you discover that the North Africans, they often dominate us. When I mean us, Nigeria. Discover that Tunisia, Egypt, Morocco, South Africa again have also joined that league of improvement. But when you talk about the West Africans, it looks as though we are backward, and it's a big worry.
Very big worry down there. We hope that things will change on the long run for Team Nigeria. The International Olympic Committee has directed the Nigerian Olympic Committee to move away from the Games Village. Its suspended athletes, Cynthia Ogusimilore, Tony Neziaya, the media attaché of Team Nigeria, disclosed this yesterday in Paris, that the IOC made the demand as a result of the female boxer current situation. Ogusimilore, the 60 kg female boxer, was provisionally suspended on Sunday as a result of an out-of-competition doping violation. It was also reported that Ogusimilore was on Thursday subjected to an out-of-competition doping control, for which an adverse analytical finding was reported for the presence of furosemide, and that's one. So Michael, she has been asked to leave the Olympic village, and this makes the situation to be in a terrible state for her.
It's one of those negative news that I said earlier, that I'm not a happy man. Now, since she came out very boldly to tell the world that it seems there's a mistake somewhere, because according to her, she's competing on a clean slate. She has never tested positive to any banned substance before, and she's refusing to accept this. She's, according to her word, there's a mistake somewhere, because she knows what she's saying. She has never tested positive to any banned substance before. So at this point, I expected the Boxing Federation of Nigeria to pick up the case for her, because that is the only authority that can be able to push her case to CAS. Just 2 days ago, when Canada was also slammed with a heavy fine just because they used a drone to spy at their opponent training camp. Less than 24 hours, the Canadian authority filed a case saying that if such punishment is going to take place, the 6-point deduction of the team should not be allowed to stand. Why? Because according to them, these players are innocent of the said charge. But then they didn't talk about anything about the coach, because the coach accepted responsibility on the issue of the drone spying their opponent camp. And the coach has been sent packing. But then 24 hours before that, they have already filed a case to CAS and stating, no, they said, no, you can't deduct 6 points from these girls because they are innocent of whatever charges. So that is a country that is responsive to the needs of their athletes out there. But for Nigeria, 48 hours, why this female boxer came out publicly to say, no, there is a mistake somewhere. I'm competing on a clean slate. I expected the Boxing Federation of Nigeria to pick up the case from there and fight for her. So they have failed to issue even a statement regarding that. And now the authority is telling her to pack her bags and leave. It's a pitiable situation that we find ourselves, that we cannot take responsibility to fight for our own people that is hoisting the flag, that is representing us at the highest level.
We'll talk about this when we'll come back from this break, because I think what you just said, actually hold water, because sometimes we see our athletes in such situation. I remember when Blessing Okangba as well was in such a situation. The Athletic Foundation of Nigeria didn't do much. We also got a report of Rosemary Chukwuma as well. I think at some points, is it Divine Oduduro also got involved. The recent was Toby Amusan.
If not how Toby Amusan was very vocal to push her case, do you think that case should have seen the light of the day?
Yeah.
Maybe by now Toby Amusan should have been banned, and she wouldn't even be part of this year's Olympic Games.
Sure.
But she was very vocal. She refused to accept what it is not her portion, and she stood her ground and fight tooth and nail before the Athletic Federation of Nigeria now move with a snail speed to, maybe like coming to be on her side. If not, today, as you and I speaking right now, maybe we don't have been hearing Toby Lola Amusan.
We'll talk more on this. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us.
What do you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets.
I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
Hey? So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Madam, water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink them.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish. I don't
drink. Wait, you drink am now. I dey sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe ko. That one I talk and now corruption. Not be for this kaswa, kuma not be for this country. Na me talk am.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and of course we'll bring you the latest revolving around the world, but especially the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. We're talking about, the performance of Team Nigeria. We told you Ogunsimilore has been asked to leave the Olympic Village, and we'll also take a look at the way that some sporting federation has actually, care or cater for their athletes, especially where they are in a very serious situation, especially the likes of Ogunsimilore. Michael was talking about the boxing federation not, looking forward to see how they can salvage the situation for her. And it has also happened to some athletes down here in Nigeria, which, of course, we mentioned the likes of Blessing Okangbari. We talk about the recent one, which was that of Toby Amusan, Rosemary Chukuma, Divine Udujuru, and the rest of them. Could it be the reason why, Michael, why, some of our athletes sometimes do not want to represent Nigeria in competitions like this?
Absolutely. Absolutely yes to that. Because when you are treated this way, when you are seeing and listening and hearing, that this is the way our athlete is being treated or are being treated here in the country, and you are, far away yonder in other countries out there where you've been able to improve yourself, improve your skills, and, you got there. You think about the thing that is happening back home. You think about the welfare package as well. You think about the care and cater for some of these athletes, and you discover that no much attention is being paid to them. And you are over there. Will you want to come back, to represent the country? No, of course you wouldn't want. And that is why we have different sportsmen and women representing other countries in different sporting strata, not just athletes in other sports as well. The Israel Adesanya that you are hearing today in the Octagon, UFC, is he not a Nigerian? The Anthony Olua Joshua you are hearing today, is it not a... So the Jama Musiala, the Bukayo Saka, Ulisse that you are hearing, all these are Nigerians. But when you take a look at what is happening back home here, you discover that you are not being valued for, giving your best to the country, for serving the country meritoriously. You begin to look at some of our legends that have paid their dues, that have carried the burden of the country in making sure that at least our name is being heard across the globe in the world of sport. You discover how they are being treated poorly. Now, you will definitely think twice, because after serving the country during your youthful age, definitely age will come in, age will set in. You begin to think about your retirement plan, and you discover that at that point where your body can no longer carry you again, the country that you have given your all don't even care for you. Will you be happy to advise even your own son, your own brother, or your own relative that is staying away in New Zealand, that is staying away in United States of America, that is staying in Canada or France, and have the opportunity that the FA of such country is even approaching you or your brother to come represent them instead of Nigeria? Will you not pick your bags and baggages to go and answer the call of a strange man land instead of coming to your own home where you know that your effort will not be appreciated?
All right. That's the situation of things, and I hope things will get better, in the coming days. But let's take a look at the tennis events down there at the Paris Olympic Games. Tommy Paul beat Motet at a 7-6, 6-3 score down there. Novak Djokovic got past Dominic Kopa in a 7-6, 6-3 victory down there. Djokovic, pushing, of course, his game down there at the Olympics.
Yes, he need to, so that at least before the end of this season or this year, he probably can win something very tangible for himself. Of course, he's a player that have actually won everything. When I mean everything that needed to be won in the long tennis, he has won that all, except the Olympic game that have also been eluding him over the years. He has not laid his hand in Olympic medals. That is the only thing that is missing in the cabinet of his trophy, or his trophy cabinet. And he want to also lay his hand on the Olympic medal before finally he leaves the stage, because 4 years to come when the next Olympic game is going to be staged, taking a look at his age right now, will he still be relevant? Will he still be active? I doubt, because he's 28 right now. 4 years down now. Add that to 28. You are clocking 32. When we have other players like Andy Murray.
37.
I mean 37. You know, we have players like Andy Murray that is 38, retiring, playing his last Olympic. At 37, add 4 years to it, you clock 31. Whereas someone that is at 38, 41. Whereas someone that is at 38, Andy Murray, is already thinking of retirement. So I think he needs to do everything possible to ensure that at least he breaks the jinx of winning an Olympic medal before finally he drops the racket.
All right, Stefano Tsitsipas also got past Bears in a 7-6, 6-3 victory. Taylor Fritz lost to Lorenzo Musetti in a 6-4, 7-5 victory. Carlos Alcaraz got past Sofalin in 6-4, 6-2. The Wimbledon French Open champion Michael pushing his game, of course, in an environment, of course, he's very familiar to.
True. He need to at least. This is a court that is very familiar to, and he need to also draw strength from the fact that this is a winning ground for him and do the needful.
Medvedev has been ousted out, Michael. This time against Olga Alisima, 6-3, 7-6. What's the problem with Daniel Medvedev?
I don't know his problem. He has refused to improve his games, and that is why he continues to get poor results. Taking a look at his performance so far, this has not been very impressive for Daniel Medvedev. So I think it's not just his year at all, but then there's still time for him to also continue to train very hard, because there are other competition after the Olympic game that would definitely take place.
Casper Ruud got past Rodolo in a 6-3, 6-4 victory down there. In the female event, Barbara Krejcikova lost to Carolina in a 6-4, 6-2 victory. And Angelique Kerber, of course, she was beaten by Queen Zheng in a 7-6, 6-4, 7-6 down there. And of course, we saw the likes of Iga Swiatek getting past Daniel Collins. But that game, of course, was not concluded. Of course, we try as much as we can to bring you what happened in that particular encounter. But it was actually Swiatek leading in a 6-1, 6-2, 4-1 score down there. I'll look forward to see what really happened, of course, in that game. But I think one of the players actually retired. And of course, maybe tomorrow by 7 a.m. on Sports Talk, I will bring you the main gist about that particular event. But Iga Swiatek, I beg your pardon, Carlos Alcaraz, of course, I just like to talk about still pushing his game. And Iga Swiatek, like we mentioned, still pushing our own. From what we're getting, I think Daniel Collins actually retired in that one. But this is a clay court, once again, for Iga Swiatek. Taking a look at what she's been able to. So yesterday, we're going to report that Coco Gauff, of course, was also out from the competition. She was the flag bearer of the United States of America. What do you make of Coco Gauff? She hasn't really been in that she has not been that fantastic, as everyone, of course, expected her to be.
Yeah, she hasn't. She hasn't. Throughout this season, I think she has not been able to hit her peak. And, it calls to question why, she was the flag bearer. She was chosen to be the flag bearer of the United States of America, breaking a long-standing record of being the first tennis player to, be the flag bearer of the United States team for the Olympic out there. I think for me, she has actually lost her form this season, and she needs to watch it, because there are other very good players within the ATP that is ready to give her a run. WTA, that if she did not, up her game, she might just be finding herself away from, within the top 10 region.
Let's take a look at the medal table at the Olympic Games. China tops the medal table this evening with a total of 8 gold medals, 6 silver and 2 bronze medals. A total of 16 medals for China. Japan are second with 7 gold medals, 2 silver and 4 bronze medals. It's a total of 13 medals for Japan. France are third with 6 gold, 9 silver, 5 bronze. Total of 20 medals for France. Great Britain are fourth with 6 gold, 5 silver, 2 bronze, 2 gold, 6 gold, I beg your pardon, 5 silver, as well as 5 bronze. Total of 16 medals for Great Britain. Australia They are fifth on the log with 6 gold, 4 silver, 2 bronze, 12 medals for Australia. Team Nigeria is seated 47 on the log with no medal, of course, to show for at this point in time. But we have to leave the Olympics at this point. Michael, talking about the pre-season game yesterday, Barcelona, they won Manchester City in a friendly encounter, ended 2-0 draw in regular time, and as well, Barcelona were able to get past there on penalties by 4 goals to 1.
It's just a pre-season friendly, nothing much to it. It's a test run for these coaches to also find some academy players that are very good that they can also integrate into the main team. So nothing to worry for City.
Nothing to worry for Manchester City. It's been 3 pre-season games for City, and they've been able to win any. Is there any cause for alarm for City? Or of course, you will say it's Manchester City, just like Michael has said down there. But good way for Hansen Flick, to start his, at his coaching job down there at Barcelona.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it's not a true reflection of the strength of the team, because most of the players are French players. So nothing to celebrate yet.
Nothing to celebrate yet. Louisville City FC, they lost to Eintracht Frankfurt by 4 goals to 0. Arua Red Diamonds, they lost to Newcastle United by 4 goals to 1. K-League All-Stars lost to Tottenham Hotspur by 4 goals to 1 as well. Kelechi Iheanacho, of course, is undergoing medical as we speak in Spain to join his new team, Sevilla. We hope that the senior man of Nigeria will be able to show that he's really a senior man down there in Spain.
True, it's a good move for him. He will be linking up with his national team player, which Sevilla also got this season, as we're talking about Chidera Ejuke. He has paid his dues for the English league out there. Time for him to move on, try a new challenge. And it's a good move. Sevilla is a European giant because they have a rich history in Europe in terms of their achievement in the UEFA Europa League out there. So for me, I think it's a stepping stone for his career.
Osimhen, a little bit in a dilemma, as he stands, not knowing what to do at the moment, because, okay, yes, he's at Napoli Football Club, Paris Saint-Germain, of course, not really looking forward to pay the huge amount of money Napoli requesting for to get the man. Yesterday, we got to report that his agents, he came up to debunk the fact that Chelsea wants to get the man on loan, and of course, offer Romelu Lukaku to Napoli as well. Taking a look at it, it seems the man is not moving. It seems the man is just static at this point in time, and is looking like he might stay once again at Napoli. Or if he's not going to stay, it means he has to move down to Saudi Arabia at this point in time. What do you make of the situation of things at the moment for Victor Osimhen?
I think for Osimhen should be blaming himself right now for failing to leave when the ovation was very high. That is when he actually helped Napoli to break a 33-year-old jinx of lifting the Scudetto after 33 years, when Diego Armando Maradona did that, with the side. Also, in that title-winning season, he also breaks so many records out there, toppling the record of even Samuel Eto'o and that of, George Weah. So for me, I think that is the time he needed to leave when that ovation was very high. But then he decided to stay, to put faith and pay the trust that was reposed on him by Napoli, when he came up, because he didn't have a very good season when he came to Napoli, but they were still patient with him. Second season, he delivered. So for me, I think his patience actually cost him this very one. As it stands, Antonio Conte has made it very clear. It's not part of his projects for the coming season. So I think, his agent talking about a calendar should look for a way out, because I do not think that going to Saudi Pro League this time around is a good move for him.
All right, Michael, we have to leave at this point in time, and it's been an impressive time this evening, despite the fact that, it's not been a happy moment for us since the Olympic got started, apart from, was it on Monday, and the Tigers got a win against Australia.
Yeah, not an impressive season for Team Nigeria, or impressive